Energizer, and I am on the Blue Review. Hey, this is Sean Green. You're watching the Blue Review.
Hey,
That would be a bendy.
We have the timing right. We finally worked this out. Welcome to the day 2, game 2 edition of the Blue Review presented by LAX. I'm Marcus Grant with Anthony Witrado, Greg Bergman, and Greg Bergman's eyebrows. Here with you.
We'll get into that.
On the front of Friday
It's all I see. It's all I see. I'm looking at the camera, and all I see are my eyebrows. You have ruined my world, Anthony.
Coming to you on a Friday morning after the Dodgers win their season opener against the Arizona Diamondbacks in what was pretty much a complete performance from start to finish, minus one little Geraldo Perdomo hiccup, but otherwise a pretty great night for the Dodgers. We will get into all of that and more. First, though, I should probably let you know the Blue Review is powered by LAX. We're taking off. Learn more about all the incredible changes happening now at LAX by going to lawa.org/ESPN. So, Anthony, I guess, I don't know if you want to explain this. In a text chat last night, somebody made a comment about eyebrows, to which, Anthony, you pointed out that one of the three of us might have some prominent eyebrows.
Yeah. So what happened was,
what had happened was,
I think it was the ball that was it Freddie Freeman hit?
Yeah.
To left field, and he got sort of robbed at the wall there.
Yeah.
And the person playing left field was Lawler. What
Yes.
is Lawler's first name for Arizona?
Jordan
Lawler. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
And they showed the close up of him, and Greg pops into the group chat, and he goes, he says something like, what was the exact text, Greg?
Oh,
I don't think good.
Go ahead, keep going. I was trying to find the exact text.
But I don't know. It was something along like, "Wow, that guy's got some big eyebrows." Because my girlfriend Jean was sitting there also being like, "Wow, his eyebrows are huge," and I was like, "Oh wow, they really big." And so I said that his eyebrows are really big. It was just a offhanded comment.
Dude's got intense eyebrows. That was the exact.
And then, which was a totally fine and fair observation. And then, Marcus, can you read my reply to the group?
Says the guy. Wait, let me try to get this right. Says the guy with big eye. Oh, says the guy who knows about that subject. That was the
And then
from there, it went through
an avalanche of life proceeded to hit.
My entire night went from like watching and just kind of like paying attention, just chilling on the couch to what? What do you mean? What do you mean, big eyebrows? Someone that knows the subject. I don't know this subject. You know the subject. It's not me. It's you. And so, yeah. And then now I realize that, these are pretty prominent eyebrows. It's, at least there's two of them. Hey, okay. So it's not
there are two distinct eyebrows there. Yes,
there's a separation. There's a clear separation.
You are not Anthony Davis, so no. you can feel good about that.
You're not Eugene Levy.
Yes,
but close, like a step below.
You're also not Charlie Villanueva.
Right. Well, he had nothing. So
you sort of walked that line in between the two of them.
But that proceeded to take over the rest of my night, and that anything that happened for the rest of the night when we were talking, like, no, I don't want any ice cream tonight. Like, you want ice cream? Why? Because my eyebrows are so big.
My wife told me we should talk more about fashions and how guys look or whatever. I don't think she meant we should spend 4 minutes on Greg's eyebrows.
No, we can move on.
All right. Anyway, let's get to the good stuff. Let's get to the good stuff. There it is. There's Eugene Levy right there.
Oh, wow. Well done, Tim.
Not that.
Beautiful production.
Well done, Tim. Let's get to the good stuff. Last night, 8-2, the Dodgers get a win over the Arizona Diamondbacks to start the 2026 campaign and their quest for 3 straight World Series titles. I mean, Anthony, that was about as complete a performance as I think we've seen. Yoshinobu Yamamoto gets the win, goes 6 innings, had the hiccup against Perdomo, but other than that, I mean, I think it was about as clean a start as you could have expected in Game 1.
Yeah, I think so. I was on with Jeff Spiegel for our post game for Dodger Blue last night, and the way I described it is this is exactly how they built this roster to win. Aside from the little small hiccup with Yamamoto, he was mostly very good. I should say he was mostly very effective.
Yeah.
I think he struggled with command a little bit, but he's so good because he is an ace. He found ways to pitch without his best stuff and still be very good. One mistake to Perdomo and it got hit out. Beyond that, though, the Dodgers looked like they were a little bit, they were slow-footed coming out of the batter's box. The offense was kind of trudging along, and then Andy Pages lifts one out. Boom, 3-run shot. The entire complexion of the game did a 180 at that point. And what happened was this lineup became the relentless, inevitable juggernaut that it was built to be. And they just continued to pile on Arizona. And that is how this team is built. You're going to get good to great pitching from the starters. And then the offense and that deep lineup is just going to continue to lean on you and lean on you and lean on you until you break. And when you break, there's no stopping the flood. And that's what happened. And then you have a bullpen that came out and was great. And 2 big question marks in that bullpen, Blake Trinan and Tanner Scott, came out and made everybody go, maybe they're not so bad. And that's what this Dodger team is like. Like I said, good pitching and an inevitable onslaught of offense.
I mean, Greg, your big takeaways from what you saw last night.
So I think you press on when it's the Yamamoto. I think Yamamoto, the place that he was struggling, weirdly enough, was the fastball. The fastball got hit out by Perdomo, and he wasn't locating it as well as some of his other pitches. I thought his curveball looked fantastic. He was really attacking the bottom of the zone with his splitter. He was even throwing the splitter at the top of the zone too, which is not something you see very often from a lot of guys, because it just kept dropping into the top up there, and it was really it was pretty amazing to see. I do want to get into the broadcast at some point too, because Clayton Kershaw and Oral Hershiser were fantastic. Jason Benetti was fantastic, but for I was all those same things. I think the Tanner Scott coming in and looking the way that he did really is starting. It's not solidifying, but it makes me feel good about how this could very well be a turnaround season for him based off of how terrible he was last year. And we've talked a ton, Marcus, about how relievers go good year, bad year, good year, bad year, good year, bad year, especially with Blake Trinan. And last year was a really bad year for Blake Trinan, when the year before was really good. If his sweeper looked like it looked like yesterday, where it was going from one side of the plate all the way to the other side of the plate and just constant movement, he is unhittable when he's looking like that. So hopefully that lasts throughout the season. But I thought it was just a great game all the way around. And from 1 for 13 at the plate to like 8 for 15 at one point, Witrado got it exactly right. It just flipped on his head with Pages.
Well, it's funny because watching it last night too, the thing I kept thinking, the first couple go arounds in the batting order were not particularly great. Shohei gets the base hit to start the first inning, and then after that, you didn't have much offense until they break through in the 5th. But even then, they were down 2-0, and I just kept thinking in my head, well, at some point we're going to get through. We're either going to get a third time through the lineup against Gallen, or they're going to go to the bullpen, which either way feels like bad news for the Diamondbacks. The fact that they only got 2 didn't seem like it was going to be enough last night. And sure enough, we get to not even the third time through the lineup. It's the bottom of the second part of that lineup, right? Where you have Muncy who gets on, then Teo beats out a little dribbler up the third baseline before Pages hits the home run. And at that point, it was sort of off and running. And so this team continues to just be inevitable. I mean, as that rally is happening, I'm getting texts from all my friends who are not Dodger fans, like walking, "Oh, yeah, you go great, yeah." I'm like, yeah. I mean, it's just we are the bad guys. We accept that. That's just who it's going to be for 162. But
But
Yeah,
did you see?
I think you saw.
Did you hear Clayton Kershaw talking about Teo? He says he's one of the fastest guys.
Yeah.
He's the third fastest guy in the team, and I've watched Teo a lot. He was my favorite player 2 years ago on the team. He was struggled a ton last year. Speed wasn't what I thought about with Oscar Fernandez. I mean,
I think Clayton was comparing Teo to himself.
Right.
He said it was Shohei, Pajes, and then Teo, and I was like, Teo? Really? I mean, come on. There's got to be somebody. First of all, you forgot Kim's not up there, obviously.
Well, yeah, he conceded that when Kim is healthy, it's probably Kim.
Yeah, there's got to be somebody else, man. There's got to be somebody faster than Teo. We've seen. So then, if he is, does that mean that every ball that he just let drop in front of him last year in right field was because he was just either hurt or kind of like, I don't want to get to that.
I'm going with the hurt thing. I'm going with that groin injury was just never fully healed last year.
I'm with you. I think it was a little combination of he's nursing that thing, and so it was like I could go all out for this one, and I think I'm going to pull up so I can play tomorrow. Because in 24 he was terrible defensively, but we didn't ever question his effort.
Right. And
last year we did, and I think there was a real reason why it was happening, and I think it was that injury. So I'm good with Teo. A healthy Teo is going to be a good Teo, I think.
Yeah, I agree. But since you brought up Kershaw, talking about that sort of thing, you want to talk about the broadcast, which I thought was really good. I was surprised to go on social media last night and see a lot of people saying they thought Clayton Kershaw was boring. And so I'm like,
crazy.
I'm like, am I looking through this through blue-colored glasses? I mean, I was the Principal Skinner meme, like, could it be that he was boring? No, it's the posters who were wrong. But I mean, on the whole, I'm with you, Greg. I thought it was a well-done broadcast. I thought Jason Benetti did a great job of not only, calling the action, but sort of integrating all of the guys he had, having to work with Gonzalez and Hershiser and Kershaw. Like, I thought, especially considering the kind of excess, I think, of the Netflix broadcast the night before, I thought this was well done.
Yeah, I thought it was really well done. I thought, like you said, Jason Benetti did a great job moving between Gonzalez and Oral and Kershaw. I thought Kershaw was really good. But I will say this: if I was a Diamondbacks fan, I would have absolutely hated it. I would have thought it was the worst broadcast ever because
apart from the 8-2 beating they took last night.
As a Dodger fan, it was maybe one of the better broadcasts I've heard in a while. For a national broadcast. For anybody else that's not a Dodger fan, and the fact that you had to watch it on NBC or Peacock, you couldn't watch it on your local RSN, they must have been so annoyed and so mad because it was so Dodger heavy the entire time through. Every question was about Yamamoto or what is going on with the Dodgers and all these different things. I felt like, they would mention something with Perdomo or mention something with Corbin Carroll, but it was very, very Dodger centric. And so that's why I liked it, but it was skewed.
Yeah, I guess because I am watching this through a Dodger lens, like there were times when it felt like I hadn't heard Luis Gonzalez's voice for a while. I also think you had a lot of conversation between Oral and Kersh. Obviously, they know each other, have known each other for a long time. You've had Kershaw on the Dodger broadcast. And so you had a lot of conversation between the two of them. But I mean, I don't know, Anthony. I thought it was a really well done broadcast overall.
Yeah, Benetti is one of the best in the business. So if somebody was going to make this kind of setup work, it was going to be him, I thought. They could not have given Kershaw a softer landing spot than this game on this day. Because, right, like even a Dodger game in June might feel a little different with Kershaw there and how he presents. It was Kershaw, his first time back with his old team in a celebratory atmosphere, gold jerseys, sellout crowd, all of that stuff, I thought lent to his own energy. And I think Benetti did a good job of giving him stuff that he knew he could talk about as an expert. Mm-hmm. And I think that was a key. Now, Kershaw has shown flashes as the wall has come down around him as a player that he could do something like this, right? The All-Star game, being mic'd up, He was more open to being talked to mid-game on days that he wasn't pitching, and he was good in some of those. So I think he can be very good at this. I think we saw the best of what it could be, though, given all the circumstances and all of that stuff. I will say this. I think that if you aren't a Dodger fan and you're not looking at it like that, because everything that he was so good speaking about for the most part was inside clubhouse type of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, here's what I know about this team. Here's what I know about this player. If he's doing, you know, a Tigers Guardians game was the example I used. How is he that good? Maybe not, but I still think he's very capable of doing this kind of role.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's still capable of at least kind of taking you through how a pitcher might think in a situation, right? Like how a pitcher might attack a certain kind of hitter. Would you stay away? Would you go soft? Would you try to bust somebody out of the hands? I think those sorts of things he would be still very good at. He wouldn't, to your point, know the inner workings of the Tigers clubhouse, or maybe know how players sort of get along or anything like that. Like that part, I think would definitely be a little bit more of a challenge for him. So I'm curious how this goes. The other thing, and I don't know if either of you know this, I mean, because we saw opening day where it was Matt Vasgersian in the booth with Hunter Pence and CC Sabathia for Giants Yankees. Then last night you had Hershiser and Gonzalez for Dodgers Diamondbacks. Is this going to be the norm for some of these national broadcasts where they're going to pull guys from their respective teams? I mean, it's been interesting, but it feels like you also don't get chemistry that you would want on a national broadcast. So I don't know if you guys had them.
So, I mean, I don't know that for sure, but at the same time, I think you see a lot of because we're moving this way to streaming services, and every streaming service is going to have some. This is really the start of it for baseball. It's already been happening in football and basketball, but baseball is now really leaning into all these. They tried it kind of with the Apple TV broadcasts, and they're starting to find a little bit of a groove. I think they're going to start finding as many guys as they can to make it themselves more interesting and more watchable. We will watch because X is on here. Maybe we'll watch more because this guy is on here, and just try to like cycle through all those X players, because most of the time they understand the game better than just an analyst. So like the play-by-play guy. So I think we're going to see a lot more of that, and we'll see like when it gets, eventually it's going to be on Amazon. I don't know if there's games on Amazon this year, but it'll eventually be on Amazon. And when they do, I'm sure they will do basically the same thing.
Bubba Holmberg says Kershaw is a worker. He will put in the time. I do not doubt that.
No,
do not doubt that at all. Big picture, obviously the Dodgers all by themselves in first place in the National League West, because the Padres, Giants, and Diamondbacks all lost. The Rockies have yet to start their season. Anthony, Greg and I were talking the other day, just kind of gaming out how we think the division is going to go. Obviously, it was easy for us to put the Dodgers at 1, to put the Rockies at 5. It was 2, 3, 4. We were sort of trying to figure out how those separate. Have you figured out how, what happens behind the Dodgers in the NL West this year? It's tough.
It's tough because none of those teams really got significantly better, and the Dodgers did. And so none of them are significantly better than the other, of those three in the middle of the sandwich there. The Padres got significantly worse, I think. And so I don't know if they're a 500 team this year, in all honesty. Their win total might start with the 7. So I think almost, and the Giants are, like, the Dodgers offense is inevitable. The Giants record is inevitable. They're going to be within a game or two of 500 no matter who they sign, no matter who they lose. That's just who they are now. And so I think for me, it comes down to the Diamondbacks. And I think that they probably finish second just because they have enough talent, I think, and enough pitching. The bullpen is very suspect.
Yeah.
But that's probably better than your rotation being suspect, which is what the Padres have. And so I think by not being the worst of that group, they finish second.
I think that's sort of where Greg and I landed too, on that they are probably the next best. The way I looked at it is they're the Dodgers, there's a gap, there's 2, 3, 4, there's a gap, and then there's the Rockies.
And And we took the Giants and we pushed them down an extra peg because of Tony Vitello factor.
Yeah. That's I think that's totally fair. That thing's either going to be totally fine and we're going to forget that he's a first year, no experience guy, or it's going to blow up in a way that it's a talking point all summer long.
So that's kind of where I am too. It's either going to be, I won't say great. It'll be good or it's going to be terrible, but it's Buster Posey in his first real big move in the chair, just taking a big swing and seeing what's going to happen.
It's got Jace Tingler vibes to me. And so, and on a much higher scale because you took one from college instead of the minor leagues.
Yeah.
But they're going to be there. I do want to ask you for when it comes to the Dodgers, what do you guys think of Kyle Tucker's debut? So he comes out, he does get the double, brings in Shohei, and when they were just smacking Gallen around. But do you think that's it's easy? It made it easier for him to be integrated into this team because he does get a hit right away, or because if he would have gone on a streak where it's like he doesn't get a hit for 5 games, we could have been talking about him.
Yeah, I think it's always easier for a new guy to come in and kind of get that first one out of the way. I think it doesn't really matter who you are. So yeah, it's nice that now he could still go 1 for 17 or something like that, and people are going to talk about it. But yeah, I think getting that first one out of the way is good. He also got robbed, and I think it was his first at bat, maybe a second at bat by Arenado, which on a ball that could have also been extra bases. The one thing that stood out for me about him, we all knew about he's a selective guy. He's got really good recognition of the zone, doesn't chase a ton. But when you watch a guy every day or you focus in on him, which probably none of us never did when he was in Houston or Chicago that much. Doing that yesterday in that first game, I was like, whoa, this guy's eye and his knowledge of the strike zone is elite. I mean, he was spitting on some pitches that were staying in the eye level strike zone for a lot longer than some others. And he was just watching it fall out and taking it as a ball. So yeah, I'm excited about where he fits in that lineup behind Shohei and in front of Mookie and Freddie, because I think he's going to create a lot of opportunities with how patient he is.
Yeah, I sort of enjoyed watching him. I mean, I just thought he had some good at-bats. It was great to see the one finally fall in for the double, because I thought he just had some really good patient at-bats, had some good swings last night. So I have very few concerns. I did have that thought of what if he starts on a bad slump or whatever? I'm not concerned about him. I mean, if you recall, Greg, it took Shohei Ohtani 9 whole games to hit a home run for the Dodgers when he first got there, and there was a lot of
I forgot that after the 111 that he for them or something along.
Back when he was overrated.
Yeah,
right. Exactly. But like I always say about Shohei, he is a Costco player. He hits home runs in bulk. So maybe we can get some Costco sortedness out of Kyle Tucker too. If he just starts hitting in bulk, I'm totally fine with that. It was good to see Mookie get a base hit too last night, driving a run, because he's another one I know we're all kind of keeping an eye on this year to see what happens. But
I was not appreciative of the Diamondbacks throwing at both Shohei and Mookie in the same game. That was something that I was not. But if you saw, do you see when Shohei was running up first base, he was like threatening Carlos Santana at first. Just like
then he throws him the huge smile. Yeah, Shohei's great, man.
Shohei's
how do you not like that dude?
Yeah, he's the best. But also, how long has Carlos Santana been in this league? If I remember correctly, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure he started with the Dodgers.
Yes.
And they traded him to the Indians at the time for Casey Blake, right? That's how far back it was. Casey Blake times when he Carlos Santana was up here first.
Yeah, I that was the trade.
Yeah. Casey Blake was my favorite Dodger for about half a year, because he the team didn't really go much of anywhere, but it always seemed like he was coming up with big hits.
Yeah, he was productive. It seemed like a pretty good trade at the time. But Santana was a prospect too. I think people knew that he had this kind of potential to have the career that he's had. But hey. Ned Colletti out there making moves.
I mean, but here he is in year number 16, I think it is now. So
yeah, he's 39 years old and still playing. So I mean, good for him.
Yeah, good for him.
The Carlos Santana trade and trading Paul Konerko. I think those were the two. They both bloody. Yeah, Paul Konerko.
I haven't heard that.
That one hurt.
Haven't heard that name in a long time. So we'll see. Game 2 tonight out at the stadium, Dodger Stadium. That's all it is. It's just Dodger Stadium. There are no other names attached to it besides just Dodger Stadium. Emmett Sheehan going to get the start tonight for the Dodgers as they go through the weekend. And then we'll be back on Monday to talk about all of it, see what happened there, and get you ready for the second series of the season. Anthony, always a good time to talk to you on Friday, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thanks, everybody in the chat. Thanks to Tim for production assistance. Stick around with the Sedano and Cap Morning Extravaganza coming up right after this on the ESPN LA YouTube channel. For Anthony, for Greg, I am Marcus, also for Greg's eyebrows. Back with you on Monday, 6:30 to 6:55 here on the ESPN LA YouTube channel. See you, everybody.
See ya. All right. Thanks, Tim. Thanks, Brooke.